So, for our last Real Screeners video, we presented our most anticipated movies of 2022, and we are happy to now give you our countdown, our list of the most anticipated TV shows of 2022.
And before we get into the video, guys, we do ask that you subscribe to our channel if you like our videos. Don't forget to smash that like button because it helps the algorithm, and of course, hit that notification bell so that you know every time we upload a video.
That's right. We really appreciate your support, and we want to tell you about our list here. We have an eclectic list here of epic fantasy, sci-fi shows.
Yeah, comedies.
Comedies, dramas. And so we're very excited to get into this list. Of course, we each kind of picked our own, right? But a lot of them crossed over. So we ended up with about 13 entries.
13 total entries.
That's right.
We each have an honorable mention. It was a really tough cut.
That was a masterpiece. I mean, I'm going to give it 5 reels for sure. What?
Guys, just before we get started, don't forget also, if you don't like our selections or you feel like you love our selections, either way, comment down below. We would love to have that conversation.
Yes, let us know what shows you're looking forward to the most. And so without further ado, starting on February 3rd, we are starting with Raised by Wolves Season 2. We have Mother and Father coming back, of course. One of the most thought-provoking shows I have seen.
Thought-provoking is the best word for it.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it hits the themes of like parenthood.
Well, some themes that have a lot of gravitas, like the machine versus nature, of course, and that kind of like mother-father like rivalry and like power struggle, of course. We can identify with, and some gender domination, of course, and that apocalyptic feel to it. The religion versus atheism.
Absolutely,
it's a show that really deals with a lot of contemporary themes, and it seems like this time we're entering some new territory, a new tropical zone,
Right, some trappings along this planet that they're finally starting to explore.
That first season ended, by the way, with a crazy larger-than-life snake coming out of Mother. Yeah, right.
My child.
The natural child, as they call it, and so it seems like that's going to be back, and I want to see how they explore that more.
I know this.
I'm excited for it.
This show might end up being one of my top 2 favorite shows of the year. I mean, if you guys haven't watched the trailer, at least watch this trailer, and I challenge you not to be interested in this show.
Ridley Scott, visionary filmmaker. So definitely excited for that one. And moving on to
February 18th.
February 18th.
We have a show that I actually didn't have as my top 10, but ironically, I was the one that introduced him to it.
That's right. You sent me the trailer for this.
It's Severance.
And it's right up my alley. I love a good show that resembles a Black Mirror-esque feel to it. And this definitely has like a sci-fi vibe to it, but a mystery intrigue vibe to it.
Yes.
And it stars Adam Scott, Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, John Turturro. So a great cast for sure. And it is Severance. It deals, interestingly enough, with this idea of an implant where you can separate basically work from your family,
right, your memories.
Yeah, your memories between work and family environments, right, so to speak.
And then so he comes to work not knowing certain
not
things
remembering
from his personal life,
his family life, and then and then vice versa. Which is a really intriguing idea, and Ben Stiller is co-producing, by the way.
Yes, so I saw that and I was like, hey,
or executive producing.
And then also you see in here that there is something creepy going on in the background. It's more than just like, okay, he's not remembering things. There's something sinister brewing
behind the scenes, and also it looks like there's going to be some cool hypnotic visual effects. So I am really excited about Severance for sure.
Severance, all right. And then so moving on to March 30th, we have our first Disney Plus entry. We have Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaacs, in a role where I think he is just going to really impress people by how dynamic of a range he can express. I mean, obviously he's a good actor, but you see in the trailer he's like going crazy, and he's also showing different personalities. And
I knew nothing about this Marvel character, by the way. So as soon as I saw the trailer, which was pretty cool. I mean, it showed you a different side of Marvel, like this guy seems like he's dealing with some serious mental disorders, so then I went on the web and I looked up some information, and you know, he deals with DID, dissociative
identity disorder,
and he doesn't quite know who he is. There's some descriptions or comparisons to Batman from the DC universe, of course, being a vigilante at night, having some anti-hero or villainesque qualities to him. So definitely like looks super cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow the comics or you know more, if you know something about him, this Moon Knight character, he has these different personalities where he's like a cab driver, he's a millionaire, he's a mercenary.
He's gonna play different roles during the day, but then he gets his powers from this Egyptian moon god Khonshu.
Right, there you go, Khonshu.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting, and definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So moving on,
darker entry. Yeah. And so June 3rd, guys, we have a show that we absolutely love, and it's for so many different reasons because it blends.
This is one of our favorites, man.
Yes, it blends all these different aspects of cinema. This is The Boys. First of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's The Boys, season 3, Amazon Prime, and this is unapologetically violent, gory, tremendous action. I mean, I can go on and on. But
it's just a refreshing take on superheroes, man. I mean, a show, no show that I can think of is more irreverent, more perverse, more hyper violent,
shock value,
but great satire regarding the whole superhero dilemma. We have Jack Quaid saying in interviews that this is the most intense, the most messed up show or season yet, and so I don't know how they're gonna
top what they've already done,
do themselves even more than they already have. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Of course, in the trailer you see Homelander, kind of giving that really creepy, sinister smile. You know, like. I'm out there. I'm already done. He looks like he's gonna lose his shit even more than ever. And of course, there's a lot of buzz surrounding the graphic novel edition of The Boys called Herogasm. Mm-hmm. And they say that it's going to hit up in episode 6 of this season. And so we're going to go through uncharted territories.
Yeah, if you follow the graphic novel, it's going to be a little cray-cray. And that's probably how they're going to try to top the previous 2 seasons.
Yes.
And you mentioned Jack Quaid, who plays one of the main characters here. And so I'm eager to see where his relationship with Carl Urban's character, where does it go? Because obviously they need to work together, but they kind of don't like each other. And then also this one little minor character called The Deep. You know, he started off as kind of a douchebag jerk in the beginning, but now he seems like he might be a redemptive character. So that kind of goes to show how how this show is actually grounded in some humanity, you know, and relevant themes like power, corruption, loyalty, revenge, that type of thing. So definitely worth the watch.
For sure. And I just want to quickly throw in here, while we're talking about The Boys, that there is an animated TV show starting March the 4th, which exists within the same universe as The Boys. This is called Diabolical. And if you see the trailer, it looks very like Looney Tune-ish, you know, Animaniacs kind of vibe to it. Mm-hmm. But of course, it is very much for adults, and it has this little baby girl that has like these laser beams shooting out of her eyes, and she's decapitating a bunch of,
because that's what would happen if you really had superheroes.
A lot of heads are severed, and
actions will happen.
So it seems like there's going to be about 12 to 14 minute episodes for that. So I'm really looking forward to this kind of like dark animated show. So.
All rizzle. Yeah. Okay. All right. And so moving on, we have The Lord of the Rings, which surprisingly or shockingly to Beto, I did not have on my top 10.
For shame.
And I'll talk about that later on. But
shame.
I will give the platform to you. Talk about The Lord of the Rings.
Move over, Ted Lasso. The Lord of the Rings is here to stay. Guys, I mean, come on. This is probably one of the most expensive TV shows ever shot. I mean, there's so much hype surrounding the Rings of Power being released September 2nd on Amazon Prime. This is going to focus, of course, on the origin story of all of these Rings of Power. I think it's a total of 20, including Sauron's, ring.
How many were distributed to whom?
Well, let me tell you, it's 3 to the race of elves, mortal, wisest, and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords.
That's 10. Okay.
And then 9. 9 rings were gifted to mortal men.
19.
And then Sauron's ring.
Oh, the one ring to rule them all.
That's right. So then it's going to cover all that thousands of years before the Lord of the Rings, trilogy. The cast is entirely different. Lady Galadriel, played by Cate Blanchett, and Elrond, played by Hugo Weaving in the trilogy, they're going to be played by different actors. These characters are going to be back, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, those elves
most
are old.
definitely.
We're going to flip to a show that he doesn't have on his list, but I do. Of course, one of my top 5. It's Halo. As you can see, obviously, I'd be a huge Halo nut. Yes, I love me some Halo. It's my favorite.
Master Chief.
Yes, my favorite video game franchise. I love this franchise. I'm really hoping that Paramount Plus does not F up this show. I saw the trailer. It looks beautiful, but I hope it's not just glitz and glamour with no substance. We'll see. I cannot wait to see the portrayal of not just Master Chief, but of all the other characters. Cortana, Jen Taylor, who voices Cortana's voice in the game, is going to be back in this. Obviously.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Or at least her voice.
Well, you're definitely the expert on, everything Halo.
Yeah, and I think, what's her name? Dr. Halsey. You see her in the trailer. She's going to be back. They kind of did like a hybrid thing with her hair, but that's only for you Halo nuts.
I hope that they really get into some good characterization with the origins of Master Chief.
That's what it looks like, right?
Which seems what it's going to be. So,
I just want to throw in lastly, as far as it looking gorgeous, you have Steven Spielberg's Amblin Television producing this, so it's going to look good.
Well, that gives it hope.
Yeah, it gives it hope. So as far as how it's going to look, but I'm also curious to see how will the grunts and the brutes and all that, the aliens look. True.
Yeah, I really hope they throw in some cool, animatronics, special effects, costumes, maybe not just rely entirely on CGI, because I think that the grunts deserve that.
Yes.
And so we just want to remind you guys that moving forward, a lot of these shows don't have a specific release date yet.
Correct.
Which is why we're not mentioning, that information. Right.
So now we're going alphabetically.
Right. So now we're at House of the Dragon, which is the spinoff, from Game of Thrones. This is set 200 years prior, and it focuses on House Targaryen, of course, which, are the ancestors of Daenerys. And so, of course, we're going to have a crazy battle, crazy civil war.
The Dance of the Dragons.
Dance of the Dragons.
Yeah.
Online, you will read articles that you will have some of the most disturbing dark characters yet in this universe.
Saying a lot.
Says a lot.
On what Game of Thrones has done. Just a little synopsis of the plot, or what we know is you had mentioned that it takes place 200 years before, but it also centers on a civil war, right? You mentioned that. It's between two siblings. It's Aegon the Second. Hope I pronounced that right.
Aegon the Second, maybe, and Rhaenyra.
And Rhaenyra, right? Yeah. They're siblings, and they're obviously battling for the throne, because that's what you do in this series. Rhaenyra is played by Emma D'Arcy. And you also have Olivia Cooke from Ready Player One and Sound of Metal playing Alicent Hightower. And for all of you Doctor Who fans, you have your boy Matt Smith playing Daemon Targaryen. So
yeah, some promising, up and coming actors. And so moving on to our next most anticipated show.
Right, it's another Disney Plus entry.
This one, oh my God, it's because I love Ewan McGregor so much as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
and so he's back for his own titular show on Disney Plus, and he's probably my favorite character from the prequel, Star Wars trilogy. So I'm very excited that he's getting his own story set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And Hayden Christensen is back as Darth Vader.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse, exactly. Yeah. This time we'll be behind the mask, so we won't have to see his cheesy expressions. But that's okay. President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, has said that we can look forward to the rematch of the century. So they're really hyping that up. So let's see what they come up with. And also, I am really hoping that they throw in some Liam Neeson in here. I'm hoping that they bring him back as a ghost, a Force ghost, Qui-Gon, some Qui-Gon action. So
that'd be cool. I'm looking forward to it just as much as you are. I mean, like you said, I loved Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's been so long. I mean, long overdue for him to get his own spin-off, for sure.
Coming to Netflix, we don't have a specific release date yet, but this is, from the mind of Neil Gaiman, who is best known for American Gods, DC Comics graphic novel. I am talking about The Sandman, And, you know, it has all the elements that I really like in a show. It seems like it's going to delve into some sci-fi fantasy elements for sure. And he plays the, you know, personification of dreams. So he's known as Dream, right?
Or Morpheus or
Morpheus. And so we're supposed to get like a glimpse of many like historical figures, whether they're real or legend. This is also, you know, produced by David S. Goyer, who produced The Dark Knight. And so a lot of promising, you know, creators, you know, in control of this project.
For sure.
And fun fact, Joseph Gordon-Levitt proposed to do this adaptation back in 2016, 2017, but they you know, because of creative differences, they, you know, didn't allow it to go forward. Neil Gaiman wanted more money, more budget to create kind of like a more faithful adaptation. Netflix, you know, brought that to them, brought that to him. So here we go.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like it's going to be super cool, super
you love
dark.
Your dark stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Dark, psychological stuff. You know, it's not dark, Mr. Beto.
A show that is, you know, kind of like Ally McBeal-ish comedy.
Breaking the fourth wall. Yep, with some green in it.
Some green.
Have you not guessed already? We're talking about She-Hulk on Disney Plus.
That's
Man,
right.
I'm super excited for She-Hulk. One of my favorite characters, actually. You're going to have Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black, and also a voice actor for the Troll Hunters on Netflix. She's going to be playing the titular character here.
Right. Jennifer Walters is her character's name.
Yeah, and you know, if you've seen the trailer, it looks pretty good. It's a teaser. You don't get too much, but what they give you is pretty juicy. Obviously, you see that Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Incredible Hulk, is going to be back in this movie. There is a quote at the end where she says, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." And that is such an iconic line. I'm like, yes, you guys sound like you're doing it right.
It seems like she's going to have a little bit more self-control when she turns green than Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I mean,
he did say in the teaser that it's triggered by anger and certain emotions.
Right,
so we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. But I really love what Disney Plus is doing or Marvel is doing by creating these TV shows and giving them each their own little identity, their own little genre. So that's cool. I mean, it's
what they do well. They give you these backstories, and then when they pull them all together, you know, it's just a massive explosion. And I do want to mention also Jennifer Walters does play an attorney, so that's where the legal side of it comes. Ally McBeal. You have Tim Roth back as Abomination. You have Jamila Jamil as Tatiana the villain, and there are some rumors or speculation that you might have maybe Charlie Cox's Daredevil appearing. Maybe. I mean, really? It would make sense. He is an attorney as well. So
No Way Home and now appearing in She-Hulk. Okay.
Possibly.
Well, then. And so here we are.
There we go. Sticking with Netflix, guys.
Duffer Brothers. Oh man,
That's how exciting.
an accident has happened.
Look. That was not planned. Look what just fell.
Divine intervention right there. Yeah, that's
a sign that this is going to be a great season 4.
Yeah, we're talking about our next most anticipated show, which is Stranger Things season 4. So we have about 4 teaser trailers out, and they range from showing you Hopper in Russia, you know, and of course that's surprising because we thought
he was dead,
that he might have perished, but yeah. And then so we also have Dustin, you know, in one of these impersonating Sherlock Holmes. So that seems like it's going to be interesting as well. We have 11 and the Byers moving to California. And that teaser shows, you know, Millie Bobby Brown kind of like adapting to a new environment, being bullied by other kids in school.
Right. Missing Mikey.
You know, and so they're going to continue evolving these, you know, these kids and their characters, while supposedly the rumor is that it's going to be the most frightening, you know, scary entry yet.
Yeah.
Right?
The Duffer Brothers even said that this season is shaping up to be the biggest and most frightening. Yeah. I just reiterated what you said.
Yeah. And a lot of framing back to the first season, a lot of flashbacks establishing like more backstory for Papa, Dr. Brenner, and 11, and also
that mysterious house too, right? That family that was previewed in the 50s.
Yes, the Creel house as they're calling it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to some more spookiness, horror and suspense.
This is the best youth-centered show that I don't know. I don't know if maybe I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It keeps you immersed and rooted in the 80s without like smearing it on your face. You know, it's fantastic stuff, guys. And I'd like to take this opportunity to put in a shameless plug for our Stranger Things Harry Potter shirt mashup design, which we also have on posters, hoodies, all that kind of stuff on realscreeners.com, guys. Check that out. You're going to love it. There's a 15% discount at checkout for you.
Yes.
End of plug.
End of plug.
And moving on.
Moving on. This is a show that you had on your list, but not I. But I do enjoy it.
Yes, I understand why.
I watched it because, you know,
it's kind of like, you know, mindless humor that's not really rooted so much in reality. It just seems kind of like, okay, it's a little too much fun.
It's a feel-good show.
Guys, we're talking about on Apple TV season 3 of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso.
Award winner all around.
It's a show that you watch when you just want to unwind with some great big buckets of laughter and heart, you know? It's about this coach. He's a divorcee from Kansas who's a football coach, and he goes overseas across the pond to London to coach some British football, which he knows absolutely nothing about. And it's a show of follies, of hearts, of self-exploration, and it's good stuff, guys. It's won multiple awards: AFI, Golden Globes, Emmys. My goodness, you guys gotta watch this show. You'll love it.
Yeah, what really captured me about Ted Lasso is the character himself. I likened him to Forrest Gump in the way that he kind of
I can
just
see that.
he is calculated and smarter than Forrest Gump, I think, but he definitely makes other people's lives better, and I think that's one of the great qualities of this character and one of the most attractive things about this show.
Yep.
And
I will not go into spoilers. So.
Yeah. And so we are now down to our final anticipated show.
Yes.
Of
final
the year.
entry.
And
could be the best.
This is the third season of. I don't even want to say the title yet. Let's see if you guys can guess it. This is
Netflix.
The Ultimate Dysfunctional Family of Misfits.
You put it perfectly, man.
We ended with a teaser there with the Sparrow Academy, right? Infiltrating. Let's see if they're going to be foe or friend or something in between. Who knows?
That would be awesome.
Who knows? But of course, we're talking about the Umbrella Academy.
Yes, guys.
And again, another unique take on superheroes. You know, if you're looking for something different, just like we talked about with The Boys, you have such a quirky, you know, array of characters. Very unique.
That makes it great.
And they're very flawed, but they have good qualities as well. And they all have kind of like their own journey, but they come together. Great performances, great musical score, and great songs usually paired with some great special effects, of course. So,
I think we're alone now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, this is a dark show, right? It's kind of along the veins of The Boys, where it takes your tropey superhero genre and just flips it on its head, you know. But it does have some uplifting moments. It has some comedy occasionally. It is just so well put together, man. It's subversive. It's well acted. No doubt will be among my favorite of the year.
Yeah, great character studies. And so down to our honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, R1.
Go first.
I had mentioned earlier that The Lord of the Rings shockingly was not on my list, and not that I'm not going to enjoy it, not that I don't appreciate it, not that I don't recognize that it is well acted and the story is near perfect.
It'll probably be nominated and win every freaking Emmy.
Yeah, and so with that disclaimer out of the way, you know, qualifying it as such, just letting you guys know that it you know, a show has to speak to my soul for me, but to be able to binge it like in 1 or 2 days.
What? Elves and dwarves don't speak to your soul?
Unfortunately not. Superheroes do, you know, and dysfunctional superheroes. So yeah, but no, that's my honorable mention. Didn't make my top 10, but I'll still watch it in short time.
Absolutely. And so as my honorable mention, didn't quite make my list, but She-Hulk is something that I'm looking forward to.
Hopefully it'll surprise you, man.
Yeah, because I'm always looking to seeing something different that Marvel puts out. So I'm excited.
I'm excited for Moon Knight, speaking of Marvel, but
we both had Moon Knight on our list, so that goes without saying.
Yeah.
So we know that we left out some, you know, anticipated shows on here. We know that there are some crazy nuts out there that are all about The Crown and Bridgerton and Star Trek Picard,
and those
are shows that are definitely, and Miss Marvel, and those are shows that are definitely great. It's not that we don't, we can only fit in. We're 10. Looking forward to these more. This is just our liking, but definitely if we left anything critical out of our list, let us know. Or if you have any, you know, comments to share, let us know.
Yeah, and as we always ask, guys, if you like our stuff, our content, subscribe subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and if you are into social media, which I can't imagine you're not if you're watching this video, check us out on Facebook and TikTok. We're at Real Screeners, and Instagram, real.screeners.
Don't forget to look up our awesome mashup movie themed designs at realscreeners.com. We have new designs coming out regularly, and speaking of, we have an awesome Spider-Man mashed up with Saturday Night Fever. We got that, the Spider, we got that just in for No Way Home, but, looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse.
And one last thing I want to tease you guys with, our next design involves a dark, iconic DC character. Stay tuned for that. Look us up on social media.
And a classic sci-fi movie. All right. That concludes our real take on the most anticipated shows of the year, and we look forward to next time when we give you our next real take on movies and TV shows.